We'll just get the formality over with. My name's Laurence.
My name's Patrick, nice to meet you.
Patrick Talbot.
That's right, yes.
Ex-miner.
Yes.
Thank God for that, we're in the right place. And so what pit, when did you, what pit were you at?
I was at Markham Main in Armthorpe. I started back in the 1978, 79.
Jesus. You don't look old enough.
I'm 57.
Are you really?
Yeah.
God, I had a kid in here today. He asked me how old I was. I'm 52.
Oh yeah?
And he said, you look like you're 57. You look like you're 45.
Thank you.
That's not very good, is it?
21st of July 1962, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
27th of July.
Oh right.
No.
So we're children of the sun then?
You're not quite a Leo.
No, I'm Cancer. I'm on half and half.
Yeah.
On the verge, yeah.
Yeah, I'm the Leo. I'm typical one of that, actually. Typical one of that. So what were you doing? So you were, so your dates again? 78,
78, 79.
79.
Yeah.
And how did that happen? So were you born in Doncaster? Or?
Yeah, I was born in Doncaster. My parents came over, we're English generation. And I was born in Doncaster, lived all my life in Doncaster. And I left school, well, one of those people at school who didn't get very much qualifications because I was always messing about.
Right.
And mining was a lot of money back in them days, so went into mining.
So you went in, what, straight from school?
No, I went into fiberglassing. I was doing valleys for houses in between the roofs, yeah. And one of my friends started training at Armthorpe, and it was making more money training than I was actually working, employed. So it was a no-brainer. I thought, you go for the money when you're a kid. You want the cars, the clothes and everything like that, and the only way to get that is to get the money. So I went.
Is there any time when you don't go for the money? Crikey. When you're a kid. It's that weird thing called money. You don't need it after you've been a kid. Jesus. Yeah. Gosh, so you left school early.
I left school in 78.
And that was what you didn't do a sixth or anything like that?
No. At my school, all the kids left at that age because everybody who had the intelligence left at 15 to go to another school.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So what school was it?
Wheatley Hills High School for Boys.
Oh, right.
And,
that sounds posh.
No, it was rough.
What sort of rough?
It's in the middle of a council estate, and the people there, anybody who had, say like O-level potential and that, they did an examination. I think is it 14 plus or 15 plus, something like that.
That was for
and they went on to Dagenham Grammar, and anybody else who didn't do that, they stayed on at Wheatley Boys until they were 16, and then they left.
Right. So there was the grammar system then?
Yes, there was, yeah.
Yeah. And you didn't do the grammar system?
No.
Do you regret not having worked harder at school?
I regret it very much so, yes.
Do you really?
Yes, because I've worked all my life in every industry, and it's took a toll on me now.
Has it? In what sense?
Tired all the time. I've got scars and injuries and.
Really?
Yeah.
So let's go back to mining. So you went obviously trained up and stuff, and you went to Markham Main.
Yeah.
And what did you do?
I went onto the face first, and then I went into the development, into the headings. Yeah, cutting the gateways, tunnels and stuff, and that was really good money.
Okay.
And
why was that good money?
Because we earned our own bonus. The pit worked on a system that how much coal you produced, you got a percentage of that in bonus. But contractors, what I was doing, contracting for British Coal at Markham Main, the more tunnels we cut, the more yardage we got, the more money we got. And there was a lot of jealousy between us because at some point when the mine wasn't doing very well, say the pit bonus could be like £5 a day bonus. We're making £35 a day bonus.
Wow.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
Holy
so.
Shit. And people knew that, did they?
People knew that, yes. So we weren't.
Couldn't hide it.
No.
How do they know? Just because that was just the guy?
No, because it was on our board.
Oh no.
It came across. In fact, there was one point where the canteen staff there, they got an area bonus of all the mines in Doncaster. And the canteen, our mine was that bad at a certain time that the canteen staff were making more bonus than a face worker was at Armthorpe. That's how the system was.
Why was that? I don't understand.
Because the area bonus, all the other pits were doing well, we weren't doing very well. So They got the area bonus, and we got our pit bonus, not area. So that's
So you're
why.
excluded from it?
Well, it's as swings and roundabouts, because when our pit was doing very well, we were making a lot of bonus, and the area bonus was low.
Oh, so it was irrespective of what you were doing, you were
Yeah.
just out of the
Yeah.
system.
Mhm.
Right. And actually publicise your wages on the bloody boards.
The publicised bonus on the
On your
board.
pony.
There was one point where the manager was that embarrassed about how much we were making, he decided to pay us over 2 weeks instead of 1 week, so it didn't look too bad.
Really? Bloody hell. So you were erecting the tunnels
Yeah,
and you were
and
the team.
cutting the faces as well. Yeah, right up until about I didn't keep on doing that because I developed type 2 diabetes.
Oh, Christ.
Towards about the last 2 or 3 years of my working life. I was just short of 14 years working down the mine, and the last 2 years I got diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, and because the policy was I couldn't work in by, because we were working about 3.5 miles from where we go down the shaft,
Bloody hell.
and with that I had to work in the pit bottom. But that actually gave me another year, because when the mine did shut, I was on care and maintenance in the pit bottom. They kept me on, and all my other mates finished, and I stopped on at Armport for a year extra.
Just because you were caring and...
Care and maintenance, yeah. We were working for British Coal until a private company wanted to buy Armthorpe. We made sure that the shaft deep, where all the water goes to, was pumped out,
Okay.
and all the gates, the tunnels gates,
So you're keeping the
air
mine-
doors, we'd kept it open, yeah.
You're keeping it going in case someone wanted to buy it.
Yeah, but the funny thing about it was, when we did go on care and maintenance, I started working back 3 miles back in, doing blast-proof seals and air doors and stuff like that.
God. So, ironically, you had to go... But you basically, with your type 2 diabetes, you weren't supposed to be down there.
No, I could work down the mine, but I just couldn't work in by, what they call in by, in the mines, you know, on the faces and
Right.
stuff. I could work in the pit bottoms.
Oh, okay. But you weren't... Why weren't you able to do the in-by?
Well, I think it's just their policy. I mean, I wasn't on insulin as such. I was at the first I was diet controlled, and then I was tablet controlled. But they deemed that it wasn't safe for me to work 2.5, 3 miles in the mine.
In case you had what do you call it?
Hypo,
Hypoglycemia.
but it's very rare that happening with type 2 diabetes, unless I don't eat something. So, yeah. And that
It
ended...
did used to happen, though, didn't it? Like, snack time was dependent on productivity and stuff, wasn't it? So
You could always get time for a sandwich. You could always make time for a sandwich. You could always get time for a sandwich. So, yeah, that ended my mining career.
Right.
Such because after that, when the private company did take over the mines, because I'm a type 2 diabetes, they didn't want me, basically. So I came out the mining industry.
Hmm. And how did you contract type 2 diabetes? Was it
Hereditary. My
hereditary?
yeah, my great grandmother had it, my grandmother had it, and my mother had it.
Really? So it really is.
Yeah, yeah. But strangely enough, it was always the females of the
Yeah,
family,
yeah.
not the males until me, of course.
Oh, right. And it's not usually a female line thing?
No, it's just one of those things. I mean, it's an Afro-Caribbean thing. There's a lot of type 2 diabetes in Afro-Caribbeans.
Is it?
Yeah.
Because one of my employees has got diabetes, so I'm quite interested.
Mm.
Because it's scary. You have to have it written up on the wall. What happens if he's has a fit? He's working in a bronze casting foundry.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I mean, it's heavy tools and stuff.
Well, I work for Bryden Beckhart's. I'm a wire drawer.
A wire drawer, what's that?
We take a wire rod,
Yeah.
and we draw it down to smaller
Oh, I
sizes.
see. You're making wire.
And it makes and we spin it into ropes.
Wow.
We do everything from majority of our work is deep water mooring lines for oil oil platforms, gas platforms, and stuff like that.
So that's cable you're making, really?
No, they call them ropes. The class is ropes.
Are they?
Yeah.
Because
For
again,
instance, haulage ropes. We used to make haulage ropes for the mines before the mines all shut down. Sometimes we call them drag lines because we do a lot of drag lines for the open cast mining from all over the world and stuff like that.
Really?
Yeah.
And so have you been doing that ever since you left the mine?
I had a time where I was did bits and bobs, but mainly that was the main job. I was waiting to get into Bryden, because at the time my ex-partner's father worked there as plumbing maintenance fitter. So I waited till the job came available, but there was nothing in Doncaster, so I went to Retford, and I worked in Retford for 5 years until a job came available back in Doncaster.
And what's Retford?
Retford is a place about half an hour's drive from Doncaster, North Nottinghamshire.
Oh yeah, Retford Services. Is it services?
Yeah.
Retford Services?
Retford, there was a Bryden wire at Retford before it shut down.
Gosh. So that must be quite interesting. Is it obviously a factory?
Yeah.
Must be quite an interesting place to see. I mean, it must be quite an extraordinary sight where it's spooling.
When you work there for 24 years, no, it isn't.
No?
No. It's just a job. All right, it's more than a job, because you've got to like what you do and care about what you do, so it's more than a job, but it is what I do, that's it, that's all I see.
Yeah. Yeah. But someone like me walking in would be quite scared by vast drums pulling wire around. Or is it quite a small affair?
Well, we do anything from 18-inch reels to a 8-foot, 6-ton reel.
Good Lord.
So anything from there right through the complete range.
And that would have gone into the mining industry to begin with?
Yeah,
It's still done.
and Bryden used to do a lot of ropes for the mining industry, and they lost a lot of contracts when the mine shut down.
Oh dear. It's amazing how it spreads
Yeah,
all that stuff. How
Mhm.
the repercussions of them.
yeah. Well, the whole of Doncaster suffered when the mine shut down.
Yeah. So you weren't around for the strike?
Oh yeah,
70, you were, weren't you?
yeah.
Yeah. How did you fare in that?
I got arrested in North Nottinghamshire and got locked up for, I think it was 19 hours in a cell. Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
What were you doing in North Nottinghamshire?
We were at a pit called Beathercoats, and we got there and we were picketing. And we actually, instead of going in the morning times for picketing, where we kept on being stopped and turned back to Doncaster, we all decided to go in the afternoon, and the police and the people, the roadblocks weren't there, so we got there, and by the time we got there, the police got there, they actually photographed all the number plates of the cars of the picketers, and then the following week, we were going back into North Nottinghamshire, and they stopped us all, and then took us to North Nottinghamshire Constabulary and locked us up for 19 hours.
I don't know. With any, were you interrogated and tortured?
I asked lots of questions, yes.
You were asked, or you asked?
But what they did do, they actually put us all in a cell together. There was 20 of us in a cell, so we all our stories were exactly the same. So when we came out and they asked us about our stories, every story was the same. I ended up going to North Nottinghamshire courts and getting £25 for, I wouldn't say it's wrongful arrest. Yeah, wrongful arrest.
I mean, you got awarded it?
Yeah, we got paid £25
Really?
each, yeah.
No.
Because they couldn't prove that we'd done anything. There was actually damage done at the mine, in the car park and such, but they couldn't prove that anybody had done it. And we said we didn't do it, we just turned up, they walked around, picketed for a while, got back in his car and drove back to Doncaster. So,
God's sake. Bloody hell. Were you scared?
about being locked up, yeah, I was actually.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, because you were with 20 mates, as it were.
No, it
Like-
wasn't.
wasn't
It
like
wasn't.
Johnny
It
J.
wasn't so much that. It was. How can I put it? I'm a black person in
Right.
in a
If I
jail.
go around you,
Yeah, no problem. And I felt uncomfortable, and they made me feel uncomfortable as well.
are the inmates or the...
No, the actual police,
Oh, right.
the things they were saying to me, and I think they were trying to get me to lose it. Yeah.
Intimidate you or whatever.
Yeah, yeah. Me and because there was like me and my other 3 black friends, and they did the same things to us. They called us names and said things to us that they shouldn't have said to us, but we couldn't prove it. There was 2 of them there. I mean, there's no way I'm going to say to a policeman he swore at me. or called me racially abused me because there's 2 against 1, and they could say they didn't do it now. It's one of those things.
Yeah. Is that a thing you have to put up with regularly, or is it just in the authority?
It was just, I've had it all my life basically, but things are a lot better now than when I was a kid. But at the time, it was just with that, what happened with the police and stuff in there.
Yeah. But it is getting better.
It's a lot better from when I was a little boy to now. It's a lot better. There's a lot less racism.
That's good news, isn't it?
Yeah.
Except unless you're in Bulgaria.
Yeah. But with this leaving Europe now and stuff, it's coming back.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Can you sense it?
It's not against say like Afro-Caribbeans, it's against, the Polish.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of Polish, Lithuanians, Latvians in Doncaster, and they're getting the back end of it because people aren't happy.
Yeah.
When people aren't happy and when financially people aren't making a lot of money, they look for somebody to blame.
Scapegoats.
Yeah.
Yeah. So your generation, were you the scapegoats?
Yes, we were like first generation. We had the Windrush that came over. My parents came over for work in the 1960s.
Did they actually come on Windrush?
Sorry?
Did they come on Windrush?
Oh no, they called it the Windrush generation because that was the name of the boat that first got here. But they all came over on boats.
Yeah.
I mean, my mother came over with a 3-month-old on a 10-day boat ride on their own because my dad was already here working for British Rail, cleaning trains day and night. My mother they didn't have enough money to come over together, so my dad came over. He worked 2 jobs, so he saved up enough money to bring my mother over because she was pregnant, but he didn't save enough in time, and she came over on her own on a boat with a 3-month-old. Which
And who was that? Who was the 3-month-old?
my sister.
What date was that?
That would have been 1959, 1960. 1959, sorry, yeah.
It's history, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's history
yeah.
in the making, isn't it?
hmm
Is it something you're proud to be associated with?
I am, yes, because could you imagine giving up everything that you know to go to somewhere you know you could never come back from?
It's funny, I was on the way up yesterday, there was a radio programme on it. There was a brilliant radio programme on it.
Yeah.
All this Windrush, basically Windrush.
hmm
And they were all talking about this, exactly this. It's just
Yeah.
absolutely... Never saw their mothers again, never saw
Never
their parents again.
parents again, that's right, yeah. My mother and father never went back. They both died over here and they never went back to Jamaica.
Really?
Mm.
And is that something, growing up and all that sort of thing, were you aware of that? Was it something that was in the house with the people? Was your mum homesick, for example?
No, not really, because the story behind my mother is this. My mother and the father, they had 2 children before my sister was born, and they both died of cot death. And they decided when they got pregnant with my sister, because they were saying this is their last attempt, that because there was no hospitals near there, they had a midwife or old lady of the village, and when you were pregnant, she was a person that actually looked after you. And you were too far away from the hospital, so if you were giving birth, you were giving birth there and then, and that was it. So when she found out that she was pregnant, my mum told me dad to sell everything they had, get enough money up so they can go to England, so that, because they didn't want my sister to die.
Wow.
So that's one of the reasons why they came over.
Bloody hell. Not even really for jobs or economic, just...
Well, it was because it was a better, I mean, of course you've seen the posters, haven't you? Streets are paved with gold, you can make lots of money, change your life forever. And it was changing, because my mum and dad didn't even have running water and electricity where they lived. They came over here and, what did it say? No blacks, no travellers and no dogs.
In the digs and things?
In the digs and things, yeah.
And was that... Did he have a job in Doncaster when he left Jamaica?
No, he went over to London, and one of my aunties was in London, and he had a friend called John Latabodier who was living in Doncaster at the time, and he phoned my father or wrote him a letter and told him that was lots and lots of jobs in Doncaster.
Really?
Yes. At the time it was the railways and the mines.
Mm.
So my dad went into the railways because he had friends working at the railway.
So there's quite a Jamaican, not exodus, what's the word? What would you call it? Quite a Jamaican
Influx.
influx.
Yeah,
Exodus.
into Doncaster, yeah. And this was so sad because there were lots and lots of Afro-Caribbean people worked down the mines.
Mm.
But it's took a lot of that generation, of course, to die because it's been 25 years, 30 years since the mine shut down and stuff. And my generation, there's a few people that I told about, you know, what's going off and the miners' memorial and everything like that, but they didn't seem interested.
No. No, I think that's why we're called doing this really.
Yeah, but I'm proud of what I did. I'm not ashamed of being a miner. It is something that made Doncaster a better place.
Yeah.
And we are celebrating it now, aren't we?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. And your part in it.
Yeah, my part in it, yeah.
Yeah. Brilliant.
I put a lot of money behind the bars in Doncaster.
So was it a good life?
Yes, it was. It was up until the miners' strike, it was a good life. After the miners' strike, it was a bit more subdued and stuff, but it was still a good life because we're still good making decent money. And it was, I'd say, an equaliser for people because it doesn't matter how intelligent you were, when you went down the mine, you could still make decent money.
Yeah.
Nowadays, you've got to super intelligent to get a super intelligent job to make any decent money. Whereas back in them days, it was a level playing field for everybody. So if you wasn't that intelligent, you could still get a job on the mine, make lots of money.
Interesting. A leveller.
Yeah.
And you decided to stay below ground, you weren't going to work above ground? Deputies and all that sort of stuff?
No, I wasn't interested. I mean, what can I say?
Were you offered the chances?
Yeah, anybody could be a deputy if they wanted to, or try doing something like that, but I wasn't interested at the time. All I was bothered about, going to work, doing my bit, making my money, going home, enjoying myself, partying.
Yeah. That sounds too bad, does it?
No, it was excellent actually.
And was your social life with miners, or was your partying?
Yes, we was, yeah. We, like for instance, I'll tell you about one episode, it was, because the mine had a shutdown period where we had 2 weeks, yeah, and the mine completely shut down apart from care and maintenance, yeah. So in 1982, me and my friends decided to go to Benidorm, and there was lots of miners from Bentley, from Arnthorpe, of course, from Yorkshire, Maine, and when we actually got to Benidorm, it was like being in Doncaster. You were walking down the street and there was somebody there walking towards you.
No.
All right, Pat, how you doing? I'm all right, mate. You? Yeah. What are you drinking? Where are you stopping? It was really, really big. It must have been, I'd say, at least 150, 200 people there. Really, yes, really.
Christ almighty.
And it wasn't just the miners as well. There were the miners' friends who weren't in the mine. They all came over as well. So it was big, yeah. And in Doncaster itself, and you got to remember I think there was about 7 pits initially, and on a Saturday night in Doncaster, like I knew all the guys from Bentley pit, I knew a lot of guys from Yorkshire, Maine. So when you went round town on a Saturday night, there was always somebody. You could walk into town on your own, and within half an hour there was somebody that you knew you could have a drink with.
God, that is amazing. Actually.
Yeah.
And it's not like that anymore.
No, not at all, no.
And did that change happen slowly or immediately once the...
Gradually over about, I think at the time, well, at that time I had my son at the time then, so I didn't hit the towns very much, but I'd say over the 6-7 years after all the mines shut down, it just went flat. People haven't got the money. There's no, it wasn't just the mines as well, it was like harvesters, there was a woman's factory that made clothing, they shut down, and a few other places. It was devastating for Doncaster.
Yeah. I mean, that was like the house of cards collapsing, really.
Yeah.
It's amazing, isn't it? It's amazing it survives, really. I mean, how long did it take to? I mean, I imagine it's a turnaround. Has there been a turnaround, or has it never survived? Never.
It's never got to. I think the easiest way to explain it would be this: Doncaster now, the only time you get that level of people in the town centre is at Christmas. When I was in the 80s and early 90s, it was like Christmas every weekend.
Wow.
That many people in town centre.
That's
There's
quite
lots
amazing.
of pubs shut down, and it's just
Yeah.
everything's just took a right knock.
So you never thought about moving away?
No, because just after the mine shut down, I got married and I had my first little boy, and I actually thought about it, but my ex-partner at the time, she worked at the Doncaster Royal Infirmary as a nurse, so no, couldn't do it because she worked shifts, and there was no way I could go away and work and come back with a child, so I decided to stay. A lot of my friends did. They started working for a big employer at the time, it was track work, and they started working on railways all up and down the country, but I stayed, and eventually I got a job at Bryden, and I'm still there.
Secure.
Yeah, well, so.
That's not under threat, is it?
The
Brexit crisis.
Oh, it is. We've took a right knock. Yeah, we all our customers, a lot of our customers are from Europe, and with us leaving Europe, of course, there's going to be a tariff when we leave Europe on our wire. So a lot of our customers now aren't putting the orders in; they're waiting until Brexit, happens, and they can see what the tariff is and how much our wire more expensive it is, and because we've always got competitors elsewhere they can go to. So at the moment, we're actually lost production. Our production's down by about 50%.
Shit.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
And are you in management or?
No, I'm just a shop floor worker, wire drawer.
So you'd be vulnerable, would you? I mean, I don't know.
Well, I don't think no, it's not that, because they've just set on 5 more people because we're short staffed. Yeah,
Oh, wow,
we're
that's
short
good.
staffed. But it's crazy because it's had that much of effect on our company and across the country in business in general.
Yeah.
They should have sorted it by now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. God, yeah. Yeah. I just had an exhibition in London and it went very well, but my sales were American and Australian and other else. And people in this country just weren't buying.
Yeah.
And it was quite scary, really.
The thing about it though, it makes our government look like a laughing stock, don't they?
Yeah, of course.
These are the people supposed to be running our country and looking after us, and they can't make a simple decision.
Yeah.
End of the day, people voted to come out, whether it's good or bad, whatever you believe in, we voted, and we're a democracy, so it should happen.
Yeah.
But
Did you vote?
yes,
Did you want to tell us which way you voted?
I voted to come out.
Did you?
Yeah, I did. Yes.
Did you foresee for example, did you foresee things like tariffs?
Not so much now, but I've read about how much money was going into Europe and how much money we're getting back. We were the second largest people put into Europe, and Doncaster has been devastated by jobs and stuff, with the mines shutting and industry shutting, going away, and I couldn't see what the point of us being in Europe when Doncaster itself was suffering.
Yeah.
So that was my beliefs.
Yeah. Would you vote the same way now?
Oh, yes, definitely.
It's interesting, isn't it? I was wondered if, having seen the mess we got into, and also I didn't understand, all this tariff business and all this trade business.
Yeah.
I thought, God, once you start to unpick it, because that's never really discussed, is it, when
No.
the vote was going on?
But I can remember when we weren't in Europe,
Right.
and we did all right back then.
Yeah.
So why can't we do that now?
Yeah.
We can trade with other parts of the world.
Yeah. Yep. I think in the long run, a generation from now, probably be quite a strong country again.
We'll wait and see for that one.
Yeah.
I have a lot of arguments with my friends. I mean, one of my friends, he went down to London on Saturday, and he was protesting for us not to come out of Europe.
Yeah.
That's how strongly he felt about it.
Well, it sounds like you can argue and stay friends.
Yes, we can do, yeah.
Go for that. It's the last thing you need to battle against, isn't it? But if you could carry on looking forward while I'm on your side, otherwise we're not going to get anywhere. I'm too busy chatting. So how do you know? Does your company let you know what the kind of order situation is?
Yeah, we have a weekly output.
Oh, okay.
And they tell us how much we produced and where we are, and we're budgeted for a certain amount of output. So when we're not hitting the output, we're not getting to our budgets. So we need to sort things out, find out why, and try and improve it. And that's we have a meeting every day, and on a weekly basis we get a budget info, and it's because of Europe where we're not got any orders coming in.
If doomsday scenario struck and you say you had to find another job, would you feel confident about finding a job around here?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I don't know.
I've no idea what the employment kind of...
Employment around here is not very good. Not very good at all. There is a lot of warehouse and low-paid jobs. Amazon's massive in Doncaster and places like that. But for what I earn in Doncaster, for what I earn now, no, not for what I earn. But then again, I'm 57.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. I'm not waiting to 67 to retire. I'm trying to put things into motion now where I can retire at 62, yeah.
Right, so you've got 5 years to go.
Well, if everything works out, yes, should have enough money, or, enough to retire on, or not. If I don't do that, get a part-time job, because I can't see me working in heavy industry right up until 67.
Is it a physical job then?
It's a very physical job, yeah.
I might be very simplistic here, but are you pulling things a lot?
Yeah, lifting things. Use a lot of your shoulders and your fingers and wrists and stuff. And we're prone to a lot of problems with the shoulders.
So it's a very, it hasn't been mechanised then, it's very...
Oh, it is mechanised, but when it's running, but you've got to get the machine up and running and get the wire into the dies to draw it down and stuff like that. And that's what's the hard bit.
How many does the company employ?
I'm not sure. I think it's about 250 in England, in Doncaster. But then we've got 2 places at Newcastle, and we've got Galkirchen in Germany. But we've been bought out by Beckarts, which are I think the 3rd largest wire producers in the whole world.
Wow. It's not a business I thought about, really.
No, well, you know your champagne cages to put the champagne bottle.
Yeah.
They make basically nearly 90% of them worldwide. And if your car, 3 out of your 4 tyres on your car will have Beckart's wire going through it on the radials, on the tray.
That's the stuff that comes flying out of yours, Laurence.
I had a blowout the other day, and the guy went up and said, "That's a wire brush, not a tyre." Really? It was a bit embarrassing.
Laurence loves his cars, don't you, Laurence? Likes bushes as well.
It was awful. So we must talk about mining.
Right.
Do you know of any accidents? Did you have accidents?
Me personally,
Yeah.
I got buried twice.
Oh, bloody hell. Really?
I was putting up the top part of the coal rings, the supports
Mhm.
and mine. You've got the bow, which is the top bit, and then you've got your 2 legs either side.
Yeah.
And we were in this heading going towards the face, and we cut out 2 meters. Well, 2 meters, and the top was wasn't very good. So we dressed it out. Basically, what we did, we got a platform up, went up, and poked it, made sure everything was like secure. Then we came back down, waited for a bit, no bits came down, and we got the bow up. And I got the leg up, and my mate was just about to put the plates on. There's 2 fish plates that go together, bolts going through, and the top and the side came down. It hit the leg. I twisted under the leg, and the leg came down on top of me, and it bowed like that. And then I got cut on my shoulders, and I got cut on my back and my side and my leg. And they took me to DRI.
What's DRI?
Doncaster Royal Infirmary.
Oh, right.
And
But so you were the ring fell on top of you.
yeah, that's
And
what saved me from a lot of more injury, because
You're protected by the ring.
I was protected by the leg, the ring, and that saved me, plus the top as well. So it sort of like came off the top, down the side. I was holding the leg here. As it hit it, it came across like this on top of me, because it's straight up and it bows, hit the floor like that. So I was underneath it, and then everything else came down on top of me.
So you were literally covered in coal?
Rock, yeah. And then my friends came in, made sure it was safe, and just dragged me out.
They could get to you?
Yeah, and another time, I was...
Jesus Christ.
I mean,
Oh,
I like the fact that there's another time. After the first time, there's another time. It's just...
Very glib about this. Was it absolutely petrifying?
It was at the time, but then it's what you do. So...
Is it? Really?
So the other time I was driving what they call a Hauser Dinter, which is like a little JCB, underground JCB.
Okay.
And what happens is when you actually cut a tunnel, all the pressure comes from all areas, and because it can't come from the top because the ring's holding the top, the floor bumps up.
Yes, I've heard this.
Yeah. And so when we were cutting the headings, we're a 4-man team, so 3 men are at the front, cutting out and setting steel, and 1 man goes back because say for instance we've cut 100 yards, say 50 yard back where the floor used to be, and you're setting R16s, that's the size, 16-foot rings, the floor could have bumped up 4 foot, so you're actually taking out a dint of 4 foot. Well, anyway,
So you call a raised bit of floor a dint?
a dint, yeah.
And you call the vehicle you're driving a dinter?
Yes,
So it's because it takes dints away?
yes, that's right, yeah.
Okay.
All this terminology comes back
Yeah,
from
yeah.
Scotland, Newcastle, all those places.
We've got those words.
I'm not dint yet.
Didn't
No.
it?
So anyway, I was taking this dint, and what had happened a few months earlier when we'd gone through, the top was bad. We went through some really bad ground.
And this were loose, you mean?
Yeah, it was loose above, but we got through it and everything was fine. And I was driving, it's electrical powered, yeah? So you've got a big armoured cable going off of the back of it onto a monorail, so you can drive backwards and forwards without the cable being caught on anything.
Okay.
It was on a monorail, so you've got like a long monorail with what they call rabbits on, holding the electrical wiring up.
Okay. Rabbits.
And it goes backwards and forwards.
So the vehicle you're driving is an electric vehicle?
Yeah.
And it's got a little power supply coming to the back of it?
That's
which
right,
are
yeah.
On a dolly going through on a rail?
On a
in the
monorail,
sea.
yeah.
And is that a portable thing? Does that like get moved and moved around?
Yeah,
Like
you
fixed?
actually take, once you advance forward, you take the back rail off, which is probably about 3 or 4 metres of steel, take it forward and hang it again at the front so you keep going forward.
Okay.
Well, anyway, this particular day, the rabbit got stuck. Top of I've got a pole. Yeah, what comes down brings the power back down to the Hauser Dinter. And it got stuck, and I didn't see it. And I drove it forward, and I drove it backwards. And each time it went backwards, it pushed an hole into the tin sheets at the top.
Ah.
So I'd gone so far.
The rabbit pushed a hole.
Yeah, and the actual monorail was smashing into the top because it kept on getting stuck, and I didn't see it. It's very noisy, very dusty.
Yeah.
So you can't see a great deal. You only got, I've got a light on my dinter, facing forward, and the light on my head, and that's it. Everything behind you is just
And it's
jet
just
black,
full of dust.
full of dust.
And how big's the hole
What?
that you're cutting?
We were cutting at that time. We were cutting R14s, so So that's 14 foot high.
14.
14 foot high. Anyway.
And how wide?
I think it was about, I think it's R14's 14 foot to 14 foot across. I think so, I'm not sure, it's been that long.
It's as big as a Channel Tunnel.
And like I say, it kept on pushing up as I went backwards. So what happened was, once I'd finished, I was pulling the dinter back out of the way, out of the dint, and it went straight up into the sheets, opened up the top of the sheets, and then the lot just came down. The first thing I felt was something hit me, and back of my neck. And I turned around and looked up. As I looked up, all the top was coming in. So I didn't even have time to turn the power off, because you're supposed to knock the power off. I didn't have time to knock the power off. I dived off to this left-hand side of the dinter, and all the my mates heard the noise because it came with a rush. My mates looked back and they couldn't see me, but they could see the bucket arms swinging from side to side and moving up and down as all the rocks were hitting it. And I was down at the side of the tracks.
The bucket arms.
Yeah, it's on the long arm and the bucket's arm, so it's like this.
Vibrating, really.
It's all hydraulic. It's an electric motor driving an hydraulic pump. It's all hydraulic. So I didn't turn the power off. I should have turned the power off. I dived off to the side. The top came in, hit the handles so that they were moving around.
Oh my God.
And then a lump went in and hit the pedals, and it started driving forward.
No.
And it was coming down the side of me all the time. So I had two choices. I could stay and get buried, or get up and run. So I just got up and ran forward. And luckily, I didn't get seriously hurt. But it took 3 days to dig it out.
So just to keep the image in my head, because I'm concentrating on this while you're talking. So you were in a mini digger,
Yeah.
roof coming in, hits it.
Yeah.
You've just got out of the rocks in time.
I've got off, I've gone down to the side, there's on Caterpillar tracks, yeah, about so high and so long. So I'm laid at the side of the tracks, all the rocks coming down, hitting it, hitting me.
And you get out of it.
And that's still going then?
That's still going.
Because it's jammed on the
Yeah.
accelerator,
Yeah.
the rock.
Yeah,
And the cab is now full of rocks.
there's no cab.
Oh, it's an open
It's
truck.
open, so all you've got is a seat, you've got a button here to start it and stop it electrically, you've got your handles up and down, side to side, tip your buckets, and then you've got two pedals at the bottom, both forward, both backwards, skew it left and right, backwards and forwards, and that's it. It was all open. Yeah. And so that was very, very frightening.
Then that had a mind of its own because it had
Yeah.
rocks driving it.
And all I could hear was all my mates shouting my name.
So
Shouting
as that was going forward, was it bringing more of the roof down?
It just
as well?
continuously came in because what had happened, all the rock above had broke. It's just like all I can say, it was like a funnel, pouring stuff into a funnel and just coming out.
Of course, yeah. So that because of the tin.
Yeah, it was missing, yeah. And like I said, it took about 2-3 days to clear it, so we could get back.
So had you been buried in that, it'd have taken a day, 2 days for them to get to you.
Yes,
So getting up and running was
the right thing to
the
do.
right, the right thing.
But you don't think about it at the time. You
Could you
try.
keep looking at me.
Sorry, you don't think about it at the time and you don't take it home either.
Don't
You
you?
don't know.
Really?
No.
You're not in shock.
I was in shock, yes, but my partner at the time, I didn't explain to what really happened because you don't want to tell your partner that you work in an environment that dangerous, because if you do, they'll want you to come out, they'll want you to do something else because it's scary.
And I suppose the environment is so alien anyway, that when you come back to 3.5 miles back to a shaft and then out, then you're so far removed from that.
Yeah,
In
hour and a half.
terms of life.
It was an hour and a half from where we worked to the last place we worked when I was in development to coming out. So no matter what happened to you, it was an hour and a half before you got out.
God. So after that, you were just the shift stops.
Well, the complete heading had to stop. We had to. There was the side where I was on, because we were in a tunnel, by the way, so we couldn't go back. It was a
On the
heading.
wrong side of it.
Yeah. So it stopped, and on the left-hand side, we actually dug ourselves out to come back, and then the following day we came back in again, but this time with shovels. We had to cut the belt in, but the rock was going on to put a new box end in so we could send it out, and then got shovels and dug the machinery out.
God. And what about the actual hole? I mean, when you dug your stuff out, would it just come through again?
It's sooner or later it stops. What we're trying to do, we get to the hole and we're trying to put what they call chop pieces, bits of wood, above the rings to cover the hole, and then hopefully we can get some tin sheets in to stop the rest from coming in.
Good God. And were you considered to be responsible for that, or was it just one of those things?
One of those things.
God's sakes. And you know, well, it's amazing. I'm always amazed at how it doesn't affect you. Like 3.5 miles down, all that sort of stuff.
You got used to it though. I mean, when you first start out, you don't really start out going there. You start out in pit bottom on something like pit bottom haulage, getting the materials from the shafts onto the paddy rows to get them to the faces and to the headings. And then what you do then is you work your way up and work your way in by, and then you get onto your face training, do your face training. That's when you're on PLA, power loading agreements, so you're getting the high percentage, 100% bonus for the mine. And then you are there, that's where you are, then you get a contract to go on a certain face, and you work that face till it finishes, or you're under what they call the market, where you fill in for people who haven't turned up for work.
Market men was used. I'm going to sit behind Laurence just to stop you turning.
Right.
Market men is something which is used in terms of a term quite a lot, isn't it?
Yeah,
So it's like stand-in or temporary staff that are drafted.
that's right, yeah.
I mean, to comprehend an hour and a half drive underground is just bonkers, isn't it? That's from here to Manchester. In terms of a drive, not in terms of distance.
Yeah.
But that's how long you're in a vehicle
Yeah.
travelling underground.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say travelling because, travelling, but out of the hour and a half, the hour or hour 10 or hour 15 was actually riding. The 20 minutes, half an hour, up to 45 minutes was walking. There was no other means of transport. You walked there. And because you made your own money, you made your own bonus, you walked very, very fast there to get the machinery started so you can start putting your rings up.
After how long are we doing this? 2 years. I could never imagine ever going out of it. Now my dad's an outdoor pursuit instructor, so I've been caving as a kid and spent a day exploring underground and having no idea where the hell I am or anything like that. But
Believe it or not, I don't like caving. I'd rather have some steel above my head than actually walk around in the cave.
I don't think I'd do caving ever again after hearing all the stories. It's just... And yet, everywhere you look in Doncaster, basically, it was a mining area.
Yeah.
So every single village you go to was just a population of people that did all this.
My wife's grandmother, she was my wife's grandfather worked down the mine, and he was also part of the union. And one of the old wives' tale was, and I didn't know this, was when your husband was working, you always kept the kitchen table clear, because if you got hurt and they fetched him home, you'll lay him out on the kitchen table.
Wow.
So my wife said to me that whilst her husband was working, the kitchen table never had anything on it.
Really?
There's something else around that, isn't there? It's like shoes on a table came from something to do with the mines, wasn't it?
I'm not sure about that one.
Something about if someone had passed, then the shoes would be put on a table or something.
I don't know that one. But that was one of the things what from around this area, Bentley, Woodlands, that area around, you know what I mean? That's what they always said, old wives. So.
The old wives.
Would you go down the lines, Laurence?
Yeah. I would, yeah.
Why?
I just find different environments interesting.
Yeah.
Out of all the jobs that we've done in these 2-hour blocks, which job do you think you'd do?
Me?
Yeah,
I mean, you talk about our 40 miners and their careers.
yeah.
Um,
None of them being bronze sculptors, by the way.
making Windsor chairs. That was a nice job. He seemed like a very satisfied
The
man.
most, I think the best job for me was when I worked in development, because you were doing something, going somewhere that no one's ever been before at all. You cut some rock out, and I mean, for instance, one point we found this underground stream.
Really?
It was 2 meters, and near the Great Yorkshire Fault, and we had people from I think it was Sheffield University came down and looked at it. We found a petrified tree, a trunk,
Wow.
and it was about so big.
A lot of people talked about forests, didn't they, underground?
Yeah.
They found like literal forests under.
Yeah. You
So
can
you-
actually see the bark of the tree and stuff. It's not very often, but in Armthorpe there was an old place in the old pit bottom where it was just pure rock. It was just a rock top, and in the top was mussel shells, and all the top was all mussel shells, and you just walked around and looked at it.
It's mad, isn't it?
So you're saying, when you say you were mining development, what do you mean?
We developed, for instance, paddy roads. Where Armthorpe was, we had Rosington at one side and we had Bentley at the other. And then the coal seam, Barnsley and Dunstall, 7'6" coal seam, goes all the way to the east coast. So we'd gone through the Great Yorkshire Fault, and from then on,
So what's a fault?
Great Yorkshire Fault is where there's a landslip from the surface right down deeper than where we were at.
So it's rock.
And it's rock, and the coal seam, it drops down, I think it was 1.6 or 1.7 metres difference.
Right, so
So what we had to do, we followed the coal seam, and then when it dropped at the Great Yorkshire Fault, we went through the fault and continued downwards. But the problem there was, the Great Yorkshire Fault's got a lot of water in it. So when we took our machinery below the fault level, all the water from the Great Yorkshire Fault was coming into our Edding, into our tunnel Edding. We used to go out, say like we finished Friday afternoon shift, you're back on days on Monday. We came back in that Monday, and all you could see was the bottom half of our road Edding machine. The place was just full of water, yeah. So we had to pump it out, then we had to dig a sump hole for the water to go into, put a pump in and have the pump working 24/7 to keep the heading dry. Because you're driving a 22-ton machine, and when the ground gets soft, it sort of like cuts itself into the ground, and then it gets stuck. And then what we used to have to do then is dig it out and put splits. It's like a tree split in half underneath the tracks to try and get some traction so they could drive it out.
So in terms of Armthorpe Pit, one thing that I've never quite thought of, how far is it from Armthorpe to Bentley? In terms of as the crow flies from here?
I'm not sure.
Because they were practically joined, weren't they?
Yes, they were, yeah. We were actually, when we were cutting, the last time I was in the Edding, we could hear Rosington Face Machinery. If we turned off all our equipment, we could hear them cutting coal through the rock.
God.
But the thing, what really upset a lot of people is that Armthorpe was, it could have gone on forever. Well, I say forever, it would have got too far or too long. But once we got through that fault, we had coal all the way to the east coast, and there was no other mines in that area. All the other mines in like Talbot and all the mines around here, Yorkshire Main, Rosington, all them, they had a short life expectancy. But Armthorpe, if they continued where we were doing this Edding, they could have gone on for miles until it got.
So, we're there, Bentley's just over the North Bridge, and that's Armthorpe. So
Oh, yeah.
literally as the crow flies,
You're underneath there,
I mean that's 5 miles going that way. If you went straight, you're probably only 3 miles.
But what you've got to remember is that you can't cut coal underneath a major built-up area. It's only in fields.
Really?
Yeah, really,
Wow.
yeah.
But there wasn't so much built up at that point, was
No,
there?
there wasn't, no.
So what would you have to do? Deviate around?
First thing you had what they call the shaft pillar. You can't take coal out within, I think it's something like about a quarter of a mile, because if you do, that will make the shaft unstable, and it could actually affect it. Then after that, when they first sunk the mines in the 1920s,
So you had like shaft pillars like that,
Yeah.
and then you had a quarter of a mile.
yeah, and then they just take all the coal there, the easy stuff.
Yeah.
And as time developed, we went further and further and further out.
So would
And-
you go circular, or would you?
It's difficult. It's all down to how to ventilate it and stuff, because you've got to remember, you've got to have air coming down one shaft, going all the way to where you are and all the way back out again. So they did it with, I think it was the feasibility of where you can cut the coal. But like I say, we were at 2.5, 3 miles out from the shaft pillar, from the shaft, and like I said, we could go all the way to the east coast. We got through that fault and that was it. And it's still there. 7'6" seam of coal. I don't know how wide it is, but it goes all the way to the coast. And that's how much. So when they said that the mining could have completed, if the government had invested in the mines, there would still be people mining now. But they didn't. But of course, it becomes unfeasible when you get so far out to ventilate it. It's too hot, it gets too difficult to get the coal out, so eventually you'd have to stop.
And sink a new shaft.
Yes, but there was nobody were investing in the coal industry. The government didn't want to know about it.
How deep was the shaft?
About,
Therefore?
I think it was about a third of a mile down.
Crazy, isn't it?
Mhm.
Still, even though we've done this for 2 years, the stories, the scale, it's hard to comprehend. I think still, like,
It's one of them things where if you've got to see it for yourself.
Yeah.
If people can explain to you and talk to you about it, but you've got to see it for yourself. So, do you know the mining museum at
cap house.
yes, have you been?
Not yet. No, I'm trying to convince my wife to do it, but she doesn't really think that's fun on a weekend. So.
It is.
She won't even get in a lift here. Like at college, she will not get in a lift.
Took me-
I don't think she's going to go underground, is she? She'll be like, "Is there stairs?" I'm like,
My friends took their grandkids and kids, and they love it.
yeah.
Yeah.
I want to do it. Definitely. I will take it off before the unveiling of it. I will go.
Yeah.
The interesting thing we've got here as well is Mines Rescue. Apparently,
Used to be on Wheatley Hall Road.
used to be just down there, yeah, where
Yeah.
the Tesco is, isn't it? And then
Yeah.
they used to have like a network of tunnels
Underneath,
there.
yeah, where they used to do rescues and fill it with smoke and stuff. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
And that's only what less than half a mile down the road.
Yeah.
So they made a false tunnels to do exercises in.
Yeah, they did. Yeah. But a lot of the communities are devastated by the mines shutting down.
Yeah.
Really are.
Well, I didn't realise when we started this project, and a lot of my family, I lived in Woodlands growing up.
Yeah.
My mum lived in Armthorpe, and
Yeah.
so all these mining communities really. And what I never realised until we started this project was the mines supported the community, paid
Yeah.
for the village hall, they paid
Yeah.
for the sports areas, they paid
That's
for
right.
and all the money that was invested into the social aspects of
That's right.
the
Yeah.
village
Yeah.
was from the mines. So
Mhm.
as soon as the mine was removed, there's no way government could fund it
No.
and keep social care.
And a lot of the social side of it, like the miners' welfares and stuff, because there wasn't any mine money, but because the miners shut down, there was no one spending any money, so you lost a big part of your area, your
Yeah.
community, because it was like a hub, yeah?
Yeah.
Saturday night, lots of people going, having a drink and a laugh and a joke and stuff, and it, as one of my old friends would say, it took the heart out of the community.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of communities, like for instance Edlington now, it's devastated by it. My wife is a social worker, and she sees it face on, where you've got like, since the mines shut down, you've got like family after family after family. The parents didn't work, or the mine shut down, so they stopped. The kids have come along, there's nothing in that community no more. The community's dead, they don't work, and then then you've got like generation after generation not working.
Yeah. It's that lack of social care. Isn't
Yeah,
it?
that's right.
Lack of society, which when I started working it out, and it was only, I think we were at Brosworth Miners Welfare or something like that, and then you think about all the miners' welfares and the working men's clubs and all this kind of stuff, but they maintain the sports fields, they maintain the play areas, they maintain the leisure centres, they had the village hall, they had the village fete, everything was from the pit. And I never grasped that until we started this, and I thought, wow, no wonder when the pits went, everything just started getting forgotten, because the government can't fund, the councils can't fund everything because they've never had to. How can they find that type of money?
Why should they?
Yeah.
It's a community thing, so the community looks after their own. It's always been the case with minings and stuff. You always look after your community.
Yeah.
It's football, rugby, big sport. We're always into lots of sports, darts, cricket, every bowls,
snooker,
everything.
Yeah.
You name it, we did everything.
And the mines all supported all that.
Didn't
They
they?
paid for the playing fields, they paid for the
Yes.
snooker hall, the
They
billiards.
kept it up, yeah. Made sure that all your clubs had subsidised beer prices, so you didn't have to pay over the odds and stuff. And it wasn't just the mining social clubs that suffered, because miners went to other clubs as well.
Yeah.
So not only did the miners' welfare suffer, all the other clubs in Doncaster suffered, and a lot of them shut down now. Majority of them now, a large majority of them now, are housing estates.
Yeah.
Because people bought them up and said to the people that owned them, we'll rent it back to you, but you've got to make X number of pounds a month. It wasn't going to happen, because the people that were used to drink there have got no more work.
Yeah.
And of course, times moves on. Youngsters don't want to sit in their miner's welfare to drink. They'd rather go to town centre.
Yeah.
So,
Like you.
like me. But I was from Wheatley. I just lived up from where Miners Welfare, where I used to go to Wheatley Club. I used to go to Armthorpe Miners Welfare.
Which one's Wheatley Club?
It's still there. You know where the...
I used to live on Hillcrest Road, mate.
Sorry?
I was born on Hillcrest Road.
Right. Well, you know at the bottom where Tesco's is now?
Yeah,
Right. Wentworth Road. Opposite side of Wentworth
Oh,
Road.
yeah.
Right on the corner there.
Yeah.
Wheatley Club.
Yeah. So that was right next to Mines Rescue, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And then you had ICI.
Further down the road.
Further down.
Yeah. See, all that went at the same
Yeah.
time. The harvesters, both plants. There was one here down Wheatley Hall Road, and there's one at Carhill. They both went.
Yeah.
They employed lots of people.
That was that the tractors?
Yes. And then you had, I couldn't remember it before, SR Gents. It was a women's clothing factory, and that used to be just outside, just up here at town
The only
centre.
thing that survived down there is Compton, really, isn't it? Which is now Eton.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you had because down that area, you had the plant, you had ICI, you had the tractor.
Yeah. Harvesters.
companies, the harvesters, which was then, was it McCormack?
Case.
Or Case.
Case.
Wasn't it? Then you have Rockware, so
Yeah.
all the glass.
Yeah. But don't forget as well, we had the plant railways.
Yeah.
They were massive, the plant. And the government decided to go to France to have the trucks and everything built there. So the plant now, they'll just put stuff together, they don't make anything.
That's one of the biggest struggles for Doncaster now, is the rebirth of how
Yeah.
we create that. Now we've got the iPort and stuff like that. It's like,
The
I was
mar-
saying to Laurence earlier about the canal here, which all that industry fed into the canal, didn't it? Because
Yeah.
they could shift stuff from there.
That's
and
a
then
long, long
onto
time
rail.
ago. But what I don't understand is this: why don't they develop the canal down there? A lot of places like Leeds, you've been in Leeds, haven't you? You've seen their canals with all the housing and stuff. And
They've got that for here. They have got the plan to do this. But it's just, I mean, how much money does all that take?
yeah,
I think they're going at it, and the council now are putting a lot of time and investment in. But what they're trying to do is to grow Doncaster, but without the expense, basically.
Yeah.
So they're trying to get businesses to come and build and invest,
Yeah.
and then they'd be there,
Mhm.
but the council haven't had to pay for the building to be done. Type
Yeah.
thing, so.
But you've been into the market since you've done it all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoy that. I
Yeah.
was there when I could go there with my wife quite often.
Yeah,
Like.
I like it. Man.
Yeah, I do.
You get in there and you're like, right, what
Yeah.
this time? It's
Mhm.
different to eat.
Yeah.
And
So
all of it so far that I've had, I ain't gone in and said, oh, it's a bad meal. Or
Mm.
It's been all of it's been really nice.
Well, like what they've done to it, because did you ever go into it before they did it?
yeah.
There was about 5 people in there, weren't there?
Yeah.
And I can remember when I was as a child, my mother, we lived up Beckett Road, and my mother used to get a bus into town.
I lived on Beckett Road.
And you know, remember the old wheelie trolleys,
Yeah.
the bags on wheels? When I was about 8 or 9, my mum used to drag me out of my bed on a Saturday morning. I used to grab hold of that, drag me on the bus, and I used to walk round Doncaster Market.
Yeah.
I should buy enough fruit and veg.
Yeah.
And all my mates were there with their mothers laughing and joking and pointing at me.
No. The sad thing about the wool market thing though as well is the flip side of that is they've reworked it all, created all these like almost luxury pods,
Yeah.
and the people that used to be in the wool market can't afford the rent on them anymore.
But I think markets unless it's like a Christmas market or a specialist market, markets are dead now, because you've got a supermarket, you can buy everything that you need at a supermarket.
Yeah.
Whereas before, you went and got fresh veg from the market, and then you got your tin stuff from somewhere else or
Yeah.
somewhere else. Nowadays, you just get in your car, go to Asda, Tesco, wherever,
Yeah.
fill everything, buy everything in one stop, and then drive home.
Yeah. Ease, isn't it?
And you don't have to pay for parking where you're doing town centre. So it was lots of things that killed off Donny Market
I think at Christmas Day they put free parking and stuff to try it.
to try and get the trade back. Yeah.
Now we're gonna have this big sculpture apparently. Patrick asked me what date was like the unveiling and stuff, and I refused to comment. I said you'll have to ask Laurence.
Well, I'm hoping it's May.
What, May next year?
Yeah.
When will the museum be completed? Have they got a date for that?
Say again, sorry.
So when will the museum be completed?
No date on that.
No date on that.
No. I did ask them, and they kind of went, so I don't think it's at a point at the minute where they can kind of commit to.
It's looking good though. I was in Cast last week. I went to Cast, and I walked by it. It looks impressive.
Moving fast with it.
Yeah.
They are going rapid with it now. But I think to get it, they'll almost be watertight, which is pretty impressive to
Yeah.
say. But they said the Savoy would be open in March, did they, Laurence? March, April.
Yeah.
The cinema, which.
Have they broke ground? I've seen all the boards up.
Well, they've only. I wouldn't have said it was a long time that they broke ground. But
Framework.
they've got framework up, but obviously, like, it's still fab, isn't it? So they must move fast. I don't know. But when they said March, April, I was like, wow. We're looking out the window and there's like a skeleton frame. We're like, what? We're like, yeah, wow. And there's going to be loads of eateries there as well. Do you know, a bit like Hertz and Triangle.
But I don't understand about parking there. How's that going to? I mean, you've got to come to town centre. You've got to park somewhere.
Yeah.
So how's that? And how's it going to affect people going into there? Will they be able to sort of like buy a ticket to see the cinema and get free parking, or got to do something like that?
Don't know. I think after that they're going to have to rework police station and behind, aren't they?
Yeah.
There's quite a lot of ground behind that, so they're going to have to do something, aren't they? You can't have a huge police station and a cinema and the theatre and everything surrounding it. You'd have to turn the police station into an attraction.
Well, like I said, my wife
change it
works.
to York Dungeon, like Donny Dungeons.
My wife works for council. She's got a lot of friends that work at council and stuff, and they're up in arms because they've took all their car parking spaces.
Yeah.
So there's nowhere to park your car, and there's only a limited amount of spaces, and there's more people wanting to park the cars than there actually are spaces. So a lot of people now can't actually park at town centre, and they need to do because they work there.
Yeah. Yeah, they're going to have to think of something. I don't know what that is, though. Hopefully someone's considered that. We have problems at the minute where we live, because we live near the hospital. So we have all the NHS, because they remove the staff car parks.
Yes, yeah.
So they all park round our houses, so you just can't get parked.
Yeah.
Then you sit and you think, if I go to hospital, I want staff to be there. So like, you look out the window and go, yeah, park there, mate, I might need you, but...
And they put all double yellow lines down certain roads, like down Wentworth Road, for instance.
Yeah.
Because I used to park down there, and I can't park down there now. I have to actual pay, so I go into the pub car park across the road from hospital.
Oh yeah, Cumberland.
Cumberland, yeah. Parking there.
Yeah. It's an issue. There's talk of parking permits for our area now. But we're lucky because we moved, so we've got a drive. So we're quite fortunate, but everything else is just chaos.
So what's the process now then? You've got once you've done the wax model, what happens after that?
Oh, we make a mould of it.
Yeah.
So there's a rubber mould made of it, and then we pour another wax, and then we get a thin wax, like it's like a chocolate egg casting, like a chocolate egg.
Yeah.
And that wax goes in another mould.
Right.
And that mould is fireable. It's grog and plaster.
Right.
And it's got a wax cup attached to the head. And
Yeah.
a couple of runners. And that all goes in a kiln, and then all the wax melts out. And after a while, we take it out fired, and pour bronze into where the wax was. It's
Yeah.
like a lost wax process.
All right. So will it be this size then?
Yeah.
Because the one you showed me was a lot smaller, wasn't it? In that cabinet out there.
In the cabinet?
Yeah.
Yeah, it just...
It varies from...
They do vary. When we're looking back at some of you think, yeah. I don't know what changes the size. I don't know if it's...
I don't know what it is either.
I don't know if it's when Laurence panics and he puts more on, or...
I'd have thought it'd gone all about roughly the same size, wouldn't
We
you?
haven't quite
You would have
worked
thought,
it out.
wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I don't understand it because I'm not really in control. I thought I would be.
Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes if Laurence gets engaged in conversation that's smaller, or I don't know.
It's very strange.
You must like me because mine's looking very big.
Yeah.
So how many miners have you got altogether then?
40.
40.
39, 40.
Is that the end of it now then?
That's it. Yeah, tomorrow is it. He's great, actually.
Yeah, they look like them, don't they? They look pretty weird in wax.
Mm.
They look deathly, but when they're in bronze, they all look pretty amazing.
And how long have you been doing this then, modelling?
Well, I've been making sculpture for 20, 30 years. I've never had a job.
That is your job, isn't it?
It is my job. But yeah, it's been a... Well, I have my own bronze foundry, so I often cast other people, used to cast a lot of other people's sculptures,
Yeah.
to pay for my own to be done. So I don't do that anymore, but that was really how I earned my money in the early part of my life.
Yeah.
To keep the wolf from the door. I didn't want to ever put the pressure on having to sell the sculpture until it was ready, you know what I mean? Until I developed my own, the skills and my own kind of language. So it took about 10 years to develop that. And now I'm lucky to be able to employ people to make my sculptures.
Brilliant.
Yeah, amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right, might have to be a little bit still because I've got to get your animated face frozen.
Right.
It's probably not going to suit you because it's animated.
The students come now. I'm guessing they've done one. Oh, it's here. Good lad. Yeah, good. I'm glad you said it. That's brilliant.
Are your parents still about?
No, my mother died when I was 14 and my father died about 20 years ago now.
Right. That was tough then.
Yeah, very tough because my mother had a brain tumour and then she had an operation at Sheffield, a specialist hospital. She came back to Doncaster, but they couldn't control her diabetes. She was type 1 insulin, and it actually killed her.
Shit.
Yeah. And I was 15 at the time. My father took it really bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. How many of you were there? 2 or 3 kids?
No, just me and my sister. I've got my sister who's like, she's 60 this year. Oh well, I shouldn't have said that. And me, but my sister, she moved from Doncaster. She went into catering and into management side of it, and she left Doncaster. She's not been here since the 80s.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Whereabouts is she?
She's in London at the moment. She works for a company that, you know, like the big nursing care homes,
Yeah.
places like that, where she does all the catering for a company that's all across southern England.
Bloody hell.
So she's got a lot of travelling to do. And of course, with day and age, with different types of diets and stuff, that she has to make sure that everywhere has the right food for the right people who need specialist
Of
diets.
course, yeah.
Yeah. Big business.
Yeah.
But she's talking about selling up because it's a rat race. She's doing 60, 70-hour weeks every week, lots of driving.
What?
And she's saying to me that where she lives now, she could sell her house and come up here and buy a house outright.
Really?
Yeah. So she's talking about, well, she's looking into it at the moment. She's in the process of doing her house up so she can sell it and then hopefully move back to Doncaster.
Wow. That'd be good for you?
Yeah, it'd be nice having a bit of family around and that. Yeah. We get on great, me and my sister. We always have done. Don't make the bags too big because I've been on days, remember?
Do you do shift work?
Yeah. I've done all my life. I've never got away from it. Yeah. I've only had about, leading up to my 18th birthday, I went on shifts on my 18th birthday, well just after my 18th birthday, and the majority of my working career has been shift work.
Mm.
Yeah. And no, I don't like it.
No?
I hate shift work.
But you've never known anything different?
No.
Wow. And how often does it change around?
Every week.
Really, from day to
It's a free shift system. Days, afters and nights. So I'm on days this week, nights next week, afters week after.
Really?
Mm.
And is that healthy?
No. I think statistics say that working shift work reduces your life expectancy by about 5 years.
Oh, God. But you look very young and fit.
Got a coin and phrase, black don't crack.
God, lucky you. How is it? Is there a large is there the Jamaican community, Afro-Caribbean community large in, was there a big one in the mining?
No, not so much. I think when we work it out now, Arnthorpe where I was, when I first started, there would have been about 15, 20 Afro-Caribbeans and 1 and 2 Asians. That was in Arnthorpe. Bentley, there was a bigger ethnic minority, larger black community in Bentley. So there were, I'm not sure about Bentley because I never worked down there. I trained there, but that's where majority of Afro-Caribbeans went to Bentley and actually lived in the Bentley area.
Wow.
See, I've never lived in a mining community such. I lived in Wheatley, which is like just down the road. So I never lived in Armthorpe. I went to Armthorpe a lot because I worked there and stuff, and I met a lot of people from there. But Bentley had a big, decent size, and they used the welfare and West End Club and stuff like that. And the community there was larger than the one in Wheatley. When you're done, would it be possible for me to take a picture of it? Show my wife.
Gotcha.
Makes it work with saying, oh, you're talking about having your bronze?
Yeah.
So they'll have to go to Sheffield for that much bronze for the size at your end.
Have you got kids?
Yeah, I've got 2 boys. My eldest boy works for a bank and lives in Sheffield, and my youngest boy finishes from here.
Oh, really?
Finished from here at R3. Yeah, he's doing the bridging course. He decided not to go to university. Then he got a few jobs, and now he's decided he wants to go to university. So he's doing a course now. Like, is it a bridging course?
Bridging. Oh, I see. From course to course.
From course to course, so he can get the right qualification, so he can go to university next year.
And what's that? Just that general studies, in a sense.
I think he's into and wants to do computers. I think I'm not
Right.
sure because you know how youngsters are these days,
Yeah.
chops and changes. But I'm hoping that he gets what he wants to do and
Yeah.
gets there eventually. No, I would. The question you should ask me now: would you, if the mines were still open, would you have encouraged your children to work there in the mine?
If your mines were still open, would you be encouraged to work your children to work in the mine?
No,
No.
I wouldn't. No. The reason, the one thing he asked me at the start of this, he said to me, if you had a better education,
All right.
yeah, I wanted my children to have a better education than I did and move up the ladder.
Yeah.
And so, no, I'd have said to him, work hard, learn more, get a good education and do something better.
But you didn't want to, really. I mean, you never said you never wanted to be a deputy. You never really wanted to move
I
up.
just wanted the money. I was a type, back in the day, there was always other things in what I was bothered about more than that. I just went to work, did my bit, and came home. I didn't want to get, if you're a deputy, you have to get involved in stuff and you have to learn stuff and that. All I was bothered about is doing what I had to do and getting out. And that's what I did. I know it sounds a bit, but at the time it was where I was.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, mining wasn't your life. It was your job.
It was a job, that's right, yes.
Because a lot of people here, mining was their life.
Mm.
The camaraderie and the...
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I loved all that. That was really good and experience that I've had in my working career now. That the camaraderie I had back then will never be, whatever I do now will never be as good as then. Because you are the closest to these people that you work with because your life was in their hands. So everybody watched each other's backs. So it was how can I put it, a tighter relationship.
Tighter.
A tighter relationship than a normal working relationship.
Yeah.
And because you had that, you got into these people's lives. So you went to the christenings, birthdays, parties and stuff. They came to yours and you became, close friends.
Yeah. Are you still close friends?
No, because I lost touch with some of them. I mean, the person that got me into the headings and I worked with for a long time was really close to died.
Oh, right.
Ray Wilkinson. It was my mentor, my second father. And he died a long while back. And then after I left the mines, I was working in Retford for 5 years. So I didn't see anybody. I was to and from Retford from Monday to Friday. I had a young family. And you don't go out, do you? You lose touch. And it's before Facebook, before all social media. So either a phone call or...
Yeah.
still bump into people again, and I like to go to the races and stuff, so I was bumping into a few of the old miners at the races. And I work with two of my friends who I work with. We used to work together down the mines, so. But nowadays, it's Patrick, can you remember Michael, whatever? Why? Well, one of my friends goes through Free Press, and in there is the obituary, and all these old miners that we used to know. Yeah, sad.
What's the time now?
Sorry?
How much time we got?
It's 25 minutes.
Christ almighty.
Is that enough?
Not really. You're too animated for me.
You want me to keep still then?
You're gonna have to for a while.
All right.
If you want to get out of here alive. can't bear it, can you? Staying still this long.
Me? About to fall asleep.
It's dangerous. Mr. Old People. I've got to get you smooth. I've got to spend 10 minutes smoothing you out. I've got to build that into my itinerary. Jesus Christ. Like a baby's bum. used to have been looked at this closely before.
Not for a long time.
I go to the doctors. Since your modelling career was over, haven't talked about that yet.
Excuse me.
Getting very tired.
Or me or you?
You. I'll collapse later on.
3 minutes.
Oh, shit. Oh, well, you can look older than you.
See you panicking.
Hello.
Got 2 minutes now.
Yeah.
Put yourself under pressure.
I'm used to being under pressure.
You need to do one from the other side.
You do it. Come on, let's get
I'm
Adrian.
not telling you what to do.
I did. Not with photography. Just gonna get it wrong. I'm gonna get you in pictures.
No, I don't school picture. I meant long ways. The back of the gentleman's head and through eyes.
There's not even gone. Past them.
If you take one from there, you can get the set up in and no,
Chaos.
you might need it for something.
Oh, I got too smooth. It's too late.
He is incredibly smooth though.
It's all insane. I'm very jealous. I can't believe there's a guy in here kidding me today. It really pissed me off. It's funny enough, I don't know why it happens. I was in Lapland doing this beautiful woman.
Pardon?
No, it sounded very wrong there.
Making a sculpture of this beautiful woman.
That's better.
And she, I thought, we were friends. And she said, how old are you? And she said, so and so. And I said, how old are you? And she said, I was 58.
Why is everyone obsessed with how old you are? It's a reoccurring theme, Laurence.
I know, it's funny, I don't know. Bit of brill cream now, I think. If I had any hair, it'd be
Maybe you
perfect.
should start being nicer to people. Maybe that's what it is. Growls.
I'm going to give you some crow's feet just because
Yeah.
You feel better.
make me feel better about it.
Yeah, but he only has crow's feet when he laughs.
I know, that's what I mean. He's a jolly fella.
Yeah. He's sat. No, he wants you to be 58 too, you see. That's what it's done.
In all of Lawrence's sculptures, there's loads of texture. There's like earth, the reeds, the grog, and Patrick's smooth. Those cheeks are brilliant though.
Well, the problem is you were talking for bloody days.
You should have told me to shut up. I would have done.
Well, you were probably quite a nice bloke. I was quite enjoying it. I think what we have to do is you have to go out for a drink, basically.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
And you talk then.
You just told me to shut up. I thought he was wanting me to interact while
It
you
was
were doing
Danny
it.
that was pissing me off. Getting his phone out and doing maps of collieries.
Wow. You were struggling, Laurence. I needed to infill. It reacts like this all the time, Patrick, when he's under pressure. Don't
Alright.
worry, he's just lashing out. Atmospheric yeast, that's what we discuss.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what atmospheric yeast is, Nathan?
No, not off the top of my head.
Isn't it the yeast that goes into how they first discovered beer and stuff? As it gets into the fruit, ferments it, turns into alcohol.
Well done.
Yeah, there you go.
It's absorbed from the air
Mm.
rather than coming out of whatever it is inside the... Actually, I've got you, I think.
Yeah.
Go for that. You suddenly appeared. I should have smoothed you earlier. You haven't got any famous grandchildren, have you?
No, nobody famous.
We had Mel Rose in. It was Danny Rose's granddad.
Yeah. I know his dad.
You know Mel Rose's... So, yeah, so you know Mel Rose's son?
Yeah.
Ah. Very nice guy.
Mm.
Do you know Desi as well?
Does he?
Is he Rankin?
Does he Rankin? I know Desi Rankin. I know Dave Rankin. I grew up with Desi
Yeah.
from down Becky Road.
You'll know Pete through.
I know Pete through, yeah, I know Pete a long, long time. We used to go to blues together in Sheffield
Is it?
back in when I was about 18, 19. Yeah, we used to take a trip out every Saturday night to blues.
Blues, as in music.
Yeah, reggae blues, house parties and stuff.
Sounds like you've had a bit too much fun in life, to be honest. Done?
There you go.
Yeah?
You rubbing his head?
It'll make me smile.
Yes.
That's brilliant. Can I? Yeah.
Do you recognise yourself?
Yes, I do actually. I look more like my dad though.
I always say that.
Yeah, I bet you look like your dad.
That's what everyone says.
It's lovely.
Bombs only one forever. Right, let's get some. You want to get. Hello. My name's Patrick. What's yours? Is there a good light on it?
Yeah.
Could you get one of me?
Yeah.
Yeah. If I give you that, will you?
Yeah, of course I will. Hope it's decent.
New Samsung Galaxy 10 Plus. It's the business.
Okay, we'll get stand here.
Go slightly aside. That's with the,
We're kissing now.
with the head. Turn it slightly aside just so good breath. Nice slide. Don't like doing this, I'm told.
That's not quite right, is it? It's coming.
Yeah.
It's impossible. When they're close next to each other, they look nothing like each other.
It's
Wait,
the
Patrick.
Champions Guide to the Galaxy, that one, guys.
Yeah.
And the thing is, though, you're smiling. And
That's
the
the problem,
head's
smiling,
not smiling.
isn't it?
Yes. It's full of face.
It's fine.
Do you want to hold it, Patrick?
Yes, please.
The last poor Patrick, I knew him well.
Yeah.
I'm not smiling this time.
So, but really not really, really solemn there. Serious business.
Oh, that's brilliant. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's it.
told you needed me to tell you what to do.
Oh,
I'll tell you
what
what
are you
you
doing
do.
here?
The head looks more like you than you do. We'll know when you go out and look at it again tomorrow.
Yeah, just get a quick picture of both of you, I think.
Looks sad. Just think of that night shift you got between that and about 2 weeks.
No, next week.
It was.
Yes.
Night shift, drawing wire, dark nights, wire. It's like a Dylan Thomas poem.
Only person who loves it is my wife. And that likes me being on nights.
That's not kind.
Gets TV to herself.
That's what Vic says as well. It's like, I like having a bed to myself.